Bhagavadi uttama sloke Bhaktir bhavadi naishtigim. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse number 17 and 18 today. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividham narehi abhala kamshibhir yuktaihi swatikam parichakshade pachakshase Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividham narehi abhala kamshibhir yuktaihi swatikam parichakshade Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividham narehi abhala kamshibhir yuktaihi swatikam parichakshade. Please recite.
Shraddhaya paraya taptam
Shraddhaya paraya taptam
tapastatrividham naraihi
tapastatrividham narehi
aphala kankshibhir yuktaihi
abhala kamshibhir yuktaihi
satvikam parichakshate.
swatikam parichakshade. Mataji's.
Shraddhaya paraya taptam
Shraddhaya paraya taptam
tapastatrividha naraihi
tapastatrividham narehi
afala kankshibhiryuktaihi
abhala kamshibhir yuktaihi
Satvika parichakshate.
swatikam parichakshade. We go word by word meaning. Synonyms. Shraddhaya, with faith. Paraya, transcendental. Taptam, executed. Tabaha, austerity. Tat, that. Trividham, of three kinds. Narehi, by men. Abhala, akamshibhihi, who are without desires for fruits. Yuktaihi, engaged. Swatigam, in the mode of goodness. Parichakshade is called. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This threefold austerity, please repeat after me.
This threefold austerity
Performed with the transcendental faith.
Performed with the transcendental faith.
By men not expecting material benefits.
By men not expecting material benefits.
But engaged only for the sake of the Supreme.
But engaged only for the sake of the Supreme.
Is called austerity in goodness.
It's called austerity in goodness.
This doesn't have a purport, so we will go the next verse as well. I will recite and then we'll go to the translation and purport. Satkara mana pujartham tabodambhena chaivayat kriyade tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Synonyms. Satkara, respect. Mana, honor. Puja and worship. Artham, for the sake of. Tabaha, austerity. Dambhena, with pride. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Yet, which. Kriyade, is performed. Tat, that. Iha, in this world. Proktam is said. Rajasam in the mode of passion. Chalam, flickering. Adhruvam, temporary. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation, please repeat after me. Penance performed out of pride.
Penance performed out of the pride.
And for the sake of gaining respect.
And for the sake of gaining the respect.
Honor and worship.
Honor and worship.
Is said to be in the mode of passion.
Is said to be mode of the passion.
It is neither stable nor permanent.
It's neither stable or permanent.
Perfect. Sometimes penance and austerity are executed to attract people and receive honor, respect, and worship from others. Persons in the mode of passion are arranged to be worshipped by subordinates and let them wash their feet and offer riches. Such arrangements artificially made by the performance of penances are considered to be in the mode of passion. The results are temporary. They can be continued for some time, but they are not permanent. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapadagambalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Regunadharidam Tam Sajivam Sadhuidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Sri Vishaka Nidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranabami Haripriye Vancha kalpadarubhasya kripa sindubhya evacha padidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Sahana Vavadu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidamattu Ma Vidushavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining today. It's very auspicious Bhagavad Gita systematic study of Bhagavad Gita class. So here we are understanding the transcendental subject matter. It's not mundane. And don't think that anything which we are speaking based on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is originally spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know that the water from the Ganges touches by the lotus feet of the Lord and it can purify even anything in which touches. That's the importance, that's the greatness of the Ganges water. Given that if anybody dies, and with this understanding that even the ashes which touches by the Ganges water can purify those personality. We know that the Sagaras, right? The Bhagirath brought Ganges down to liberation for the Bhagirath's forefathers, the Sagaras. So they get liberated just by the touches of the Ganges water. So which is just touching by the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can purify the everything and whatever it touches. Then think about that. This is the transcendental words which spoken by the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. How much it can purify the those who are hearing the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It's all the scriptures and all the acharyas referred and confirmed this statement that whoever hears this Bhagavad Gita, even a verse, they can purify themselves, purify their existence. It says that, in the Bhagavad Mahatmya, Sri Shankaracharya Sheda says that, Gita Shastram Idam Punyam, Etpadet Prayada Puman, whoever listens, understand and realize and hear, and they will not attain Etpadet Prayada Puman, they will not attain any kind of calamities or problems, and they will attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And also Shankaracharya says in the another verse of, says that Gita Nyayam Shastram Idam and Ganga Jala Snanam, that even a one verse of the Gita Shastra one hears, then they can attain. There is no need of anything else, just by hearing the words which is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which emanates from the lotus mouth of the Lord. So the Ganges water which touches the lotus feet of the Lord, but these words which is originally, which is coming out from the Supreme Lord's lotus mouth. So how much punya, how much purification it can give whoever hears this the transcendental the words, transcendental knowledge which comes out from the Lord. So it's very important that we understand very systematically and apply it in our life, so that we can also purify our existence. So this chapter is, we were going through, we know that in the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna is asking this question, that those who are not following the scripture, Arjuna's concern is that, yes, there are people the second continuation of the 16th chapter. 16th chapter is mentioned about the divine and the demoniac qualities. So divine is qualities, means that one who is following the scriptures, following the regulative principles, those who are following the scriptural orders and the instructions of the spiritual master, and they are dedicated in the devotional service of the Lord. So basically, this is the definition of a divine quality or divine nature. But on the other hand, those who are not following any of this, those who are does things whimsically and they are out of their pride and everything, and in the 16th chapter, majority of these verses, Krishna is speaking about the qualities of demoniac natures. So Arjuna naturally had this question, and the people, those who are not following the scriptures, and oh Krishna, can you explain how they are behaving, and what is their nature, and how they are behaving based on what nature they have. So that's where Krishna is revealing this transcendental knowledge to Arjuna, that this is the division of faith. That's the chapter is mentioned, that the division of faith, that means Krishna is referring and telling to the Arjuna that they are behaving according to the mode they acquired as per their birth. So as per the modes of material nature, as per the guna, as per the qualities they acquired from their past life, and they will behave accordingly. That's why this chapter also subdivided into 5 sections. So the first section is actually from 17 chapter, first verse to 7th verse. It's modes determine one's faith and one's worship. So Krishna is clearly revealing that, and the modes reveals that. The modes determines that how one can perform his faith and his activities. Then the 8th verse to the 10th verse, it is again in the section of foods in the modes. So people in the one who goes as per the rules and regulations, as per the scriptures, they know what to do, they know what to eat, they know how to behave, and all those things. But here, the Krishna is referring that those who are not following this, and what kind of food they eat. They eat, if those who are in the mode of goodness, they eat, very juicy and very palatable, and even foods are in the mode of goodness, foods are in the mode of passion, and foods are in the mode of ignorance. And what quality a person has, based on that, they consume all this. Then there is a section from the 11th verse to the 13th verse is sacrifice in the modes. So there is, there is 3 modes in the sacrifice as well, and there is a very responsibly and dutifully a person performs his sacrifices. Is that's in 3 modes, and that's the modes of goodness. And then a person is always looking for the results and the fruitive. That's a fruitive sacrifice. That is in the passion, and then doing this all sacrifices unfaithfully. There is no faith in any of this, but just for the sake of doing it, for some kind of material benefits. And this is in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So one person does not have any faith in anything, but just doing the sake of doing it, and that is in the mode of ignorance. So then we come to the section that's where the austerity in modes. When we came to that, there are 3 kinds of austerities: austerity of body, austerity of speech, and austerity of mind. That's we are seeing that. Then also this austerity in mode of goodness, austerity in mode of passion, and austerity in mode of ignorance. So we come to this section where we can see that that's where beginning with the 14th verse, which mentioned that austerity of the body. So we know that many people go and they did thousands of years penance in the Himalayas, sometimes under the severe weather, cold, the heat, and also many things. So this mentioned that when there are 5 points in terms of austerity of the body, one is actually one has a full faith in the Supreme Lord, and then worship the Supreme Lord in terms of and following the instructions of the spiritual master, and following the father and mother and things like that. So that's we perform, we support, we perform, we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, we follow the scriptural injunctions, or we follow the all these things. So those kinds of this known as austerity of the body. Like just for an example, like cleanliness, it's very important that we clean our body on a regular basis. Otherwise, we know that what happens. It accumulates everything. All this dirt accumulates, and that's very important that we regularly clean our body. So how do we do that? We take bath as per the instructions, and it says that a real Brahmana should at least take thrice in a day bath before they chant the Gayatri mantra. But at least it says that minimum twice in a day they have to take the bath. So the cleanness is very important. That's not just that external cleanness. We also have to have our internal cleanness. Internal cleanness means that we have to purify our heart. So how we purify our heart? Chedodarpanamarchana. We have to Param Vijayade Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. We have to keep chanting the holy name. When we keep hearing and the chanting, and then Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all this nine process of bhakti, that can clean our heart, clean our internal cleanness. So the cleanness is also another sacrifice of the body. Then there is a simplicity. Simplicity means that it's not that we take everything in this world that on top of our head and then deal with it. That is completely foolish, because of people, those who are never satisfy anything in this world with their needs. It says that Lords always provide the needs of the people, but Lords never provide the greed of the people. So mostly people are greedy in this world, so they never satisfy the greed. But people are very simple, and simple living or high thinking. That's Srila Prabhupada always mentioned that all the devotees, everybody, those who are into this path of transcendental journey should have this attitude of simple living and high thinking. So this simplicity is very important. That simplicity is also the austerity of the body. how we refer that. Sometimes people, they instead of they just like to satisfy their senses. Just for an example, a person supposed to eat twice or thrice a day in the minimum level, but a person like eat whatever they get it in their front of them. They don't discriminate. They eat like anything, like that's it, that they are just living in this world just to eat. So that's just one. But on the other hand, it's an austerity that we control our tongue, control our belly, and control our all the necessities, our unwanted necessities of the body. So this is the way we can control our body. That's one way of looking at it. That's a simplicity. So that we have to be simple in all respect. We don't want to be so much complicated in this world. If anything comes to us, that we need to think that twice, that is it necessary for me. So this is called for an example, like we have many times we hear that one person has 200 pairs of shoes. Some people has 100 pairs of shirts and the pants and jackets and so many things. And instead of one car, one person has 7 cars, 10 cars. Some we hear the news like celebrities, and they just spend money for all those things to show others. So these are not. This is very complicated. Then it creates the unwanted desires in everybody's life, and this will be complicates things. It entangles us, and it's creates the attachment to this material world. That's very important, that we should be simple in our life, so that it minimizes our needs. We know that there was a story like this. One time there was a very sadhu. Sadhu was living with very minimum. He was very happy, and he was living with the very minimum, and all he had has just one copy. That's all he had. So then he just go to the river, he just wash it and put it that back, and then on the body itself, it's dry. So he does not want to worry about anything else. All the sadhu, he is completely aloof, completely free from all this material attachment, so that he can focus on the importance of all the simplicities, that so that we can focus on the devotional aspects of the Lord, devotional service of the Lord, so that we don't have unwanted desires or complicate things and entangle with all these material things. So then the sadhu, he had this problem that one day this one mouse came and they started to eat this cowpea, and he thought that how we can actually get rid of this mouse. It's keep coming and disturbing me. And then he thought that, okay, if I have a cat, then I can somehow manage my this mouse. So he got a cat. He started to give take care of this cat in his house, so that mouse went away. So because of the cat, then he thought that this mouse is actually just there. So mouse needs some milk to drink and something to eat. So then he thought that, how can I maintain this mouse? Otherwise, the cat. Otherwise, the mouse will come again. So he thought that, okay, somehow this cat needs to get some milk. So he thought that, okay, let me find a, so nearby there was a girl. So there was a cow there, and he went there and said that, can I get a cow, so that I can get some milk every day, and so that I can feed the milk to a cat, so that I can protect my everything and the mouse won't come. So he went there, and somehow he managed to get a cow, and he brought this cow in his hermitage, and he started to take care of cow now. So now his life is more complicated. Now he has to find a time to cut the grass and feed the the cat, as well as feed the cow. So now he was not finding the enough time, and now it's complicated things, very, very complicated. And then what happens? Now he thought that, okay, let me get a girl who can take care of this cow and the cat, and taking care of the feeding the cow, all those things. So he went there nearby village, and he explained everything, and then one family, okay, then take this girl, so that this girl can help you. So this sadhu brought this girl in his hermitage, And eventually what happened, this sadhu got married to this girl. And then now he got a family. He got a wife, and he has to, then eventually he got children, and he has to now take care of the children. Not only take care of the children, he has to take care of the wife. You know that if there is a wife, what is the necessities and needs? So it's very, very important. And then now he has to take care of the wife and, the children and the cow, the cat. Now he was very satisfactorily, very simply, that he was able to get lots of time for his devotional practices and processes, and he was very happy. Now things get complicated. Instead of the simplicity, now things get very complicated, and his life is completely engaged to do all those things. So now he has to take care of everything. He has to always worries about how to take care of the children, and this girl, this wife, this cow, the cat, and his hermitage. So everything became so big now. So then he was so much worried, and he was thinking that how happy I was, and I was always in the mood, in the devotion, in the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Now things get so complicated, and now I don't have any time for anything. And what a life it is! He started to curse himself, and then then he was came to that such situations. So just for an example, the devotees, this is the austerity of that, we can say that austerity of the body. So if we are too much entangled and thinking and keep adding so much of material things in our life, things get complicated, and we will not have a time for any devotional services of the Lord. Even people don't even get the time for even remember the Lord. We know that many times we go out and the people, we invite people, okay, oh, Prabhuji, please come to the temple. What they say first thing, no, I don't have any time. Oh, Prabhuji, please read these words at least, please take this Bhagavad Gita so that it's with you. Whenever you have time, that you can read. Then they say that, oh, no, even if I read, I don't understand a thing. Why? Because of their mind is so much complicated. Their mind is so much entangled in so many things. They cannot even read, but they are not, because of they don't come to that understanding of, because of their life is completely entangled and complicated, because of they don't have the simplicity or simple life or kind of concepts. So dear devotee is very important, and in the 16th chapter Krishna reveals that into that asha pasastade baddhe kama kuruda parayana ihande kama bhogar tamanyaya artena samchayan. Asha pasastade baddhe, with this asha, with this material desires, is like a rope which binds us. Asha pasas tadir badir kama krodha parayana. In order to fulfill the lust, and from the lust anger arises all this kama krodha parayana. Even the kama fogartam. In order to fulfill the material desires, lustful desires, people are engaged even anyaya illegally. They entangle into so many problems into this material world. It's very clear, and it's very, Krishna is explaining, Krishna is revealing this truth to the Arjuna, that how a person can be so complicated. So it's very important that we have to have austerity of the body, like symbol or simplicity in our life. So where a person is so much entangled and complicated, then he is very difficult that he can come to the pure Krishna consciousness. We know that some people, they take a vow, I'll chant this many rounds, but they have their life, and eventually what I saw a couple of devotees came to me and told me that I cannot even chant nowadays. So many girls, so many visitors, so many people, I have work, I have that, this, those. Hey, devotees, this is the situation. This is what is exactly Krishna is telling to us. So we forget ourselves because we are in a fix. So that's what it is. And that's austerity of the body, means simplicity. So it's very important to have a symbol and simplicity in our life, not to complicate our life. So Krishna gives us that a wonderful opportunity that we take the shelter of the Supreme Lord, take shelter of the spiritual master, take the shelter of the Guru and the devotees, and somehow or other we find some time to meditate upon the Supreme Lord, chant the holy name, so that we always in relationship, in connection with the Supreme Lord, in remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So that gets more and more, that gets 1,000 times better consciousness or happiness or joy that to our life than adding more and more. We completely take shelter of this material enjoyment or material happiness or in the gadgets and other things. So that's what is this material. So it gives only pain and complexities rather than it gives the joy and bliss. It's very important to understand this truth that we should have a very simple simplicity in our life. Then the another is actually we should be celibacy, and the austerity of the body is we should have this celibacy. Celibacy is very important, and many times, the morning Bhagavatam class and evening time, many times it explains about that the importance of celibacy, because of celibacy keeps our mind and the body and the consciousness pure. Otherwise, it's always polluted and then it's contaminated and then it's actually takes us away from the Krishna. So it's very important. That's also austerity of the body. Then it's actually non-violence. So we don't want to, there are many ways that we can say that the non-violence of the speech, non-violence of the killing the other animals, eating meat, non-vegetarian, all, even on, so many things that we can say. It all comes under the non-violence, right? So, sorry, the violence. So we should be always non-violence. That means we should be very pure in our consciousness. This is possible only one who follows the four regulative principles. What are the four regulative principles? For no intoxication, no meat eating. Very important. So if anybody is actually eating this meat, that means they are promoting the violence in this world, in this society. So a person is trying to satisfy his tongue, killing other animals or other animals' body or the flesh or whatever it is. It's actually promoting the violence, and this person is not in an austere or situations, or they are simply accumulating the sins in their life. So it's very important that we have this austerity of the body. Then we came to the understanding of austerity of speech. Very, very important. As it's mentioned that in the verse itself, that 15th verse. Anaudoga karam vakyam. Anaudoga means, what is that? Uddoga means anxiety. Anaudoga means we should not create anxiety or worry that when there is a speech into the other those who are hearing. So it's very important that, and how that we can make that austerity of the speech, and we should always speak the truth. And that's truth is sometimes it should be based on the time, place, and the circumstance. That means if some truth which gives more pain, more distress to another person, it's better not to speak that truth. And other way that we should explain. And also we mentioned that on the other day about the reacting and the responding. So we should always see that how we can instead of when we hear something, how do we react? Or how do we, instead of reacting, we should respond as per the intelligently, as per the time, place, and the circumstances. And this austerity of the speech, it should be pleasing to others. It should not use anything which comes to us that, if anything we say to them, instead of commanding. There are some many times we hear that the people, do it or do that. We know that even in language, there, just we say like tu and tum and ap. There is three different degrees of it, three different ways. When something we address something to a elderly person or any people, that we should keep their respect, instead of say to, that is irrespect, that we say up, that means, that's very respect. So, or tum, right? It depends on, the person we talk to. So this is even there in the language. So then think about that, how do we address, and Krishna is revealing that to Arjuna, that, our speech should be pleasing to others. It should not be that whenever we talk to others, it should be from the word itself that we can understand that what kind of personality it is. Sometimes people are so commanding, just come in and do it. Who are you to talk to me like this? I can't say anything to anyone. I have that power to do it. Even though we are the top of the ladder, and any person that if we don't value others, then we can easily understand that what is the quality of that person. It's very important that we value each and everybody. And not only that, if somebody speak to us, we should be hear that what they are speaking. Many times, when there is a speech, and that we are trying to put ourselves first, and what we are trying to say, never the listener actually. It's very, very important quality that we are also, instead of speaking, we should be always a listener for others. In many times, according to the statistics, that people, it says that in this world, people likes those who are hearing others. Not that we always speak to others or tell to others and advise others. And it's also mentioned that many people want that, even though it may be we don't want to say anything they're on that when they talk to us. But all they want is, actually, they want us, from us, is that just hear. That's all they wanted to say. They wanted from us. So it's very important that we speak very pleasingly, not that in anything which comes into the mouth. And we know that the tongue is the most problematic that in our body. And if we control our tongue, the two things for the tongue. Tongue goes us, the one is to eat and another is to speech, these two things. And if you are able to control our tongue, most of the problems of this world is, solved. But we are not, because we are so urged to speak, so urged to, if we hear something, we are urged to speak that to anybody else, unnecessarily offensive languages. And, we can hear that in this world, even a person, just little bit of, get angry, like anything, use bad words and so many things. So Krishna, see how Krishna is revealing this transcendental knowledge. And Krishna is telling us that, it's very, very important that we have this austerity of the speech. This is a divine quality. This is a godly quality, basically. So we should be always, if somebody ask something, somebody asks, tell something to us, or when we reply to that, and even if it is very provocative situations, we should not go beyond our limit, and not any words that which come out which pollute. It's mentioned that whatever the austerities we accumulated, and that can we simply lose, that even just a bad word that which comes out from our mouth, it can simply lose that all pious credits we create, because of it creates the pain, it creates the distress in others' mind. So it's always important that what the words we use. Sometimes people talk about bad things about others, talk about we know that there is a story of in the Ramayana that then I'm just shortening it. Actually, Yamaraj couldn't find out who is the fault of. Like, there was a snake, the eagle took a snake and then flying with it, and the snake actually just fall down to a person traveling. And then with the bite of the snake, that the person's traveling on a horse, and he passed away. And then when they came to the Yamaraj, and the Yamaraj couldn't find out who is the culprit of this, whom I should give the sin. He couldn't find out, and he was waiting for it. And all on a sudden, the another day, that a person came to the city of that kingdom, and then one person was envious of that, the king, and a visitor was coming and visiting there. That time, this person that doesn't want to, this visitor to visit the king, and he started to blaspheme the king and talk about ill about the king. So this time, Yamaraj could see that this person is, that he is the right person to accumulate this sin. So it's very, very important that your devotees, even though we use the bad words, and even you gossip or finding the fault unnecessarily, telling the ill about others and the lies about others, we can accumulate all whom we are saying. It is mentioned in the Garuda Puran, whom we are talking all this, we can accumulate all those their sins to us. So this is the nature of it. So it's very important that what we speak, so pleasing, and it should be also beneficial to others. Not just Srila Prabhupada says that when there is a in the field, open field, these frogs comes, and when the frogs open, then what these frogs open the mouth for? Just to say croak, 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 like that croak. When the frog croaking sound, immediately the snakes comes and eat them. So this is what it is. Even the unwanted and the which is not beneficial, and all the speeches which we spit out from our mouth, what we are inviting our enemies. We are simply inviting our enemies. So it's very important, dear devotees, we understand this fact. Then we come to the the not agitating others. Also regularly when we austerity of speech means regularly we hear and we recite the Vedic literature. And we know that the Brahmana in the Srirangam temple, this Brahmana was reciting, even though not understanding properly the verses, but keep, because of this is the following the instructions of the spiritual master. So it's very important that we recite the verses. Even I mentioned that in my office, I give Srimad Bhagavatam to one of my colleagues. He's very happy. He started to recite this Srimad Bhagavatam every day morning. And he mentioned to me that I recite this every day loudly, so that my family, they may be sleeping in the morning, but they could hear it some extent. He continues every day. Now he came to the 11th canto, he was reciting this every day. We can understand that, dear devotees, how this austerity of the speech comes. So it's very, very important that we recite also, and Bhagavad Gita verses, scriptural verses, Bhagavad verses. Even when you are talking, when you are going somewhere, when you are just recite, your own. Most of my verses, Bhagavatam or whatever the verses, what I knew is actually I keep repeating this while I walking or something, maybe sitting somewhere, just started to meditate, and so that it comes to us. So it's very helpful. Then we come to the austerity of the mind. So there are 5 points. That is the 16th verse, that austerity of the mind. That is, one is actually gravity in thought. So we don't bring any unwanted thoughts in our mind. That is the big problem of us. Sometimes what happens, we swayed away. It's like, when that tsunami, in 2006, the tsunami came, everything is swayed away and nothing left over. So like that, when we don't have a control, when we don't have an austerity, when we don't have a proper control of the mind, it comes and it sways away our pious, our devotional credits, and it devours us. It's like an ocean, it's like a tsunami, which devours our good thoughts. It devours our everything. So austerity of the mind is very important. So we have to be gravity. That means we have to have only that which necessary, that we should keep. No unnecessary, what is called exploitation of the mind. And then that mind, whatever which comes to our mouth is come from our mind, and what we are accumulated in our thought. Sometimes we see some people, we don't like them. So why? Because we have that thoughts in them, then we have the prejudice. We have that kinds of attitude that we keep it in our mind. So then we immediately see or say something, we get angry because we don't like. That there is a proverb like that, if one person doesn't like his wife, then whatever she does is actually a wrong thing for him. So this is a proverb, this is a saying like that. A person doesn't like his wife, whatever she is doing is a fault for, for her husband. So like that. Why? Because we are not gravity in our thoughts. Gravity means we have to be that mauni. That means don't respond unwanted unnecessarily, only what is necessary. And most important thing, dear devotees, always in the thoughts of the Krishna, then our mind gets purified. That's the austerity of the mind, which we can say. Then we should be satisfied. It's not that, anything what we see, if I get that, I don't have. The problem of this world is actually we are not happy with what we have. We are always hankering for, and we are unhappy with what we don't have. This is our problem. This is the most of us problem, is that we are not happy with what we have. We have children, we have job, we have house, we have car, but still we are not happy. We are hankering more and more. This is the problem. We are not satisfied. So always remember that we should be always happy what we have. That means that's the will of the providence, by the mercy of the Lord that we have, that we should be happy with what we have. And then if you are hankering more, if you are endeavoring more and more, dear devotees, we are inviting trouble, because of it's beyond our karma, or beyond our what is written for us. So there are so many stories and so many things which out there. I'm not getting into that because due to the time. So as is mentioned, that we have to have self-control. So it's very, very important. We have to have the self-control. Unless it says that, as it's everybody, many devotees mention that is one. We are able to control our mind. We win over this world. That's what is mentioned. That if we are able to control our mind, we win over this world. If we are not able to control our mind, we are failed, because of the mind sways away everything. Mind sways us in all directions. We will not have any proper control in anything. And we cannot control our senses, we cannot control our body, and most of the people's problems in this world that they are not able to control themselves. So they so many situations out there. And what happens then? If austerity of the mind, then we have to purify our existence in this world. So then we come to the this verse of this 17 and the 18. Again there are modes in this 17 and 18. The verse of this the austerity in the mode of goodness, and the 18th verse is the mode of passion. So austerity in the mode of goodness, if anybody done with the transcendental faith, that means understanding that why I'm doing this. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, dear devotees, and this is the essence of, in the beginning, Krishna reveals that one who has this understanding and follow this, so that they can gradually elevate to the Krishna consciousness and pure Krishna consciousness. And then we have to have that faith. And then as always says that, dear devotees, that practice makes man perfect. Practice makes perfect. That means, in any way that without practice, we cannot reach to that level of, to that perfect. In any case we take in our life, we have to keep doing. And it's very important. We have to keep doing. Even though we chant, we don't properly chant, but we keep chanting, so that every day when we get up, that is there that I have to chant. So like that, many times we do things that is from our subconscious mind, it comes to us, right? I was driving one time, from the temple in the morning, Mangala Arati, and I was driving on the 287. My mind went somewhere, but I was keep driving, and I took the exit turn, and all the way the road inside, which comes to that. I came very close to my house, and then I woke up from that consciousness, that thought that where it went over. And then I realized that how I came to this point, because of it was keep me driving, because of in my subconscious, it's all is there, make turn here, make here. So, this is the way it is. Like driving the cars, and after we drive the car some time, then we just tune to it, right? So tune to it. So this is what is we need to do, that we have to practice so that we tune to it, so that naturally then we come. That's why life is a preparation, that is an examination. When it's time of when we come at the time of the death, then automatically this is there in our consciousness. That's why its practice is very important, and then we develop from there, and then we will purify from our from our contaminated situations, kind of polluted mentality. So then when we have to, when it's any austerity with the transcendental faith, that is considered as mode of goodness. And also any austerity that not expecting any material benefits or the results, that's also in the mode of goodness, right? Many times, we go to temple. Many times people has, they put $21 or $12, and then they ask for, $12 million or the Tesla, which is 100,000 or 12 million, whatever it is. So they do little things and asking from the Lord that I need this, I need a big car, I need so many things in this world so that I can enjoy my life. So this is whatever they're doing little bit, that is actually in the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance. And that doesn't give that the transcendental, the love for the Supreme Lord. So it is not in the mode of goodness. So that comes under the mode of passion. So anything that austerity which we do, dear devotees, it should be out of love for the Supreme Lord. Like we get up in the morning, we chant, and we, go to the altar, we do wonderful arati and offer the paraphernalia, we offer the Supreme Lord. This all comes out of the love for the Supreme Lord. So, but a person does with the faith in the Lord, that, oh Lord, this I am doing for you. And with that faith, any austerity that which you perform, that comes into the mode of goodness. And then we complete the pure devotional service platform, which come to the Shuddha Sattva or Sattvadam Samsuddhir. That means in the Bhagavad Gita mentioned the Sattvadam Samsuddhir, Shuddhi Sattva. We come to that point of Shuddha Sattva. So from the pure goodness, we come to the Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness or pure devotional platform. So it leads to that pure devotional platform. Then also, for the sake of the Supreme, And it's not any austerity which we do, dear devotees. Sacrifice means yajna means sacrifice. Who is that yajna? The another Lord's another name is known as yajna or yajna. Yajna means Supreme Lord. So we are here in this material world. It's not really, to enjoy and put ourselves in the center and load it over everything for the sake of ourselves. No, our existence in this material world, to understand this and put ourselves and put Krishna in the center of our life. Like as we says that we have so many desires in this material world and so many hankering, so many, lots of things and entanglements in this material world. It's all just like big zeros. Like, at the end of the day, at the time of death, nothing else save you. It's all big zeros. It's just zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros. But all these zeros then utilized for the service of the Lord, understanding this is the sake, this is for the Supreme Lord. This sacrifice I'm doing for the Supreme Lord. If we have that understanding, not put ourselves in the middle, in the center, but Krishna is in center and everything surrounded by for the sake for the Supreme Lord, then that has a big value, like big bundles of zeros. We put one in front of that zeros, it's get a huge value. Like that, our life, dear devotees, instead of wasting, instead of entangled with these big zeros, just put Krishna in the front, and then it has a huge value for our life. So that's what is in the austerity in the mode of goodness. Then we come to that austerity in the mode of passion, that which does out of pride. Like, I get fame, I get name, anything I do, we say, oh, my name is there. I am doing this. I did this. Simhesvara did this yajna. Simhesvara did this class. Simhesvara did this one. He talked about it. He did this, all services. That, this anybody does likes that this way. This is out of pride. That means, oh, I get some name. Somebody says my name. It comes to my WhatsApp. It came to the temple and come to the notice board. It came all those places. Dear devotees, and anything which is also another zero. Because of it, it doesn't yield any good results, right? Which entangles us, which gives pride, our false ego. It all increases, and day by day, then what happens? Then we entangle into this material. So it takes us away from the Supreme Lord. So this austerity, the meaning of austerity is to satisfy Krishna, to please Krishna. That is why the service means to please Krishna, to not please ourselves. Any sacrifice, even chanting the holy name, should be to please the Supreme Lord. So any devotional service, dear devotees, Lord is pleased because of it's a sacrifice. That means we are not doing for ourselves, but for to please the Supreme Lord. That's our goal. To please the Lord. How we please the Lord? Like Srila Prabhupada says that when we love someone, that when we do something for that it gets pleased to that person because of love. So that it's a mutual relationship. So there is a relationship between the devotee and Krishna. That's what is, 5 kinds of relationship that we know, that Dasya, Sakya, Valsa, Shanda, Dasya, Sakya, Valsalya, and Madhurya. So then only we can come to this relationship. Otherwise, if we are self-centered, there is no relationship, right? If any person, when you deal with other person, he is so selfish, the relationship is so weak, there is no relationship. But he's selfless. That person listens and understands and do things selflessly, there is a relationship. So this same way that we have to have this relationship with the Lord selflessly, that means, we should be free from the pride and arrogance and false ego and all those things. Then only we can really come to, or we can, austerity, which says that, in the pure goodness or in the transcendental platform. Then, and it's also another aspect of it is actually, which is neither stable nor permanent. So anything that which the yajna, some people say that, I am here in this ISKCON for 25 years, still I don't like to chant, still I don't do anything, I don't this. So these are temporary, which just temporary, it gets pleases us. Some people come, into this ISKCON, they're so enthusiastic, they do things and then they go away. So this is temporary because of they were expecting something out of it. So when a person does the surveys or anything in this world, they expected something, it's temporary, which is out of, it's called in the passion, austerity in the passion, so that they are attached to that something. Sometimes people are so attached to do certain things and then they get it, they just go away, they get angry, so many things. service to the Supreme Lord, even as minute, or even just cleaning the floor, when cleaning the toilet, that even gets that highest value in the eyes of the Lord, because it's service to the Lord. This is a selfless service. A person in the altar is equally doing the same service. A person cleaning the toilet, there's no difference in the transcendental realm. So, but people does not understand this, because of sometimes they are attached to so many things, and then they are out of that attachment and the pride and the arrogance and the false ego. They do things, but then after some time they started to find fault in it. There are so many stories I can say, but I'm not, due to the time, I'm not telling that. So then what happens? Then they say that this is fault, this, that, like that. This president is not good. This person is not good. This commander is not good. This devotee is not good. This temple is not good. It's not clean. This, so many. They start to find the fault in it. Then what happened? Then they find the fault, then go away from the service and from the Lord. So this is the result of it, when we have this out of this austerity in attachment, in the passion. So it gives us it doesn't help for our spiritual progress. So it's just temporary, just flickering happiness. They do it and just go away. But a person, those who does the austerity in the mode of goodness, and as it's mentioned that for the sake of the Supreme Lord, to please the Supreme Lord, and it is not out of the pride, but with the transcendental faith and austerity. That's what is we have to do. And whatever we do, dear devotees, even a service, even a small service, have that Krishna in the center, and tell that Krishna, and remember that, realize that Krishna in that, oh Lord, I'm helpless. I'm incapable of doing anything. But this is your mercy that I am able to do this. And please give me the strength. Please give me the courage. Please give me the understanding so that I can do it this selflessly. And this was one of the prayer of the Brahma. When Krishna came in front of the Brahma, Krishna was giving all the blessings to Brahma. And one of the prayer of Brahma's to the Supreme Lord, Brahma said to Supreme Lord that, oh Lord, even though I am creating this world, please bless me that I never get this pride that I'm creating all this living entities, the bodies of the living entities. So dear devotees, always remember that anything that we do, and it's all the mercy of the Lord. It's not that anything that which we can do. It's all the mercy of the Lord. Even we are sitting here and hearing this Bhagavad, it's the mercy of the Lord. Speaking is the mercy of the Lord. Hearing the mercy of the Lord. Having this opportunity is all the mercy of the Lord. Always have this understanding that by the mercy of the Lord that we can do anything, we can progress. So we always have this one, instead of, I'm so and so great, so I can't do this. I'm teaching here and there. I'm so much years into this service of this one. I can't do this. No. We have to, all the time, we have to ready for the service, because this is transcendental service. This is loving devotional service. This is not a mundane service. So dear devotees, very important that we understand all this. And that's why Krishna is revealing this and to Arjuna, so that to us. So let us, always have this understanding and take up and apply it in our life, so that our life gets, perfect. And then we purify our existence. I just went ahead a little bit. I wanted to cover this. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for patiently listening and being there in the association of the Supreme Lord and the devotees. It's very great. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let me stop here. Yes, I keep talking. So thank you, dear devotees. Anything would like to add? Anything would like to, any concerns, comments, questions? Anything would like to, any comments? Any realizations? Good to hear from each and every one of you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Guruji. Dandavat pranam, all Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Can you hear me?
Bhagavan Nitaya Prabhu ki jai. I can hear you.
Dandavat pranam. Very nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Very nice class. So I was having a discussion with another religion person, and so basically this is Abrahamic religion, right? Either Christianity or Jewish religion or the Muslim religion, right? So they have a very clear idea, all the good things come from God. and the bad things came from Satan, right?
Yeah.
If I understand correctly, and it may not be right, in the philosophy which we get from Bhagavad Gita, or the knowledge, we say everything comes from Krishna, right?
Yeah.
Then it's easy to understand the good things come from Krishna, but how the bad things can come from Krishna?
Yeah. It's in the Srimad Bhagavad, it is explained that even the demons are created from the in the body of Brahma. When his Brahma came, so all these demons are actually Rakshasas and Rakshasas and the demons. They created from the shadow of Brahma. Yes, it's all created from the, what they did in the beginning, when the beginning of creation. When Brahma created, Brahma created the ignorance first. Ignorance. So ignorance is spread over. From the ignorance, then Brahma actually became so kind of ashamed that I created the ignorance. Then Brahma created the 4 Kumaras in order to eradicate that ignorance, so that the jnana, the knowledge, prevailed. From the shadow of Brahma, these Rakshasas, and then it's all created. And we also know that Kashyapa Prajapati, the demons created, and they acquired all these qualities. Now, what they did when the Rakshasas and all they created first, they are actually initially they forwarded to eat the Brahma, and this is all because of, so everything is actually created in this world from the Lord himself. We say that the Satan is the one creation of the Lord, or the Lord Brahma is through Brahma, but it's also creation of the Lord. In order to, because of that's the nature of it. We know that this is very important to understand that initially all souls are there, right? The souls never dies or creates from anything. Lord, souls always exist. But what is actually create a person, demon or a divine, is their quality. So the souls are very pure. So as soon as they exit from the spiritual realm, they fall down into this material world. Then due course of time, they acquire these various qualities. So because of the entanglement and interaction with this material modes, so they come to the goodness, to the passion and ignorance. They acquire these qualities, and then they goes beyond, and then they became the quality occurs, which is goes beyond that. They acquire the demoniac qualities. Then they fall into the category of demons and the Rakshasas and Rakshasas and the ghosts and so many areas, right? Pishajas and Bhutas and, like that. So they all gradually fall down into this various demoniac species of life. And then they become demons. Yes. So when that happens, then they are also there. They are also very powerful. Their influence are there in this material world. No demons are there into the spiritual world. Right? It's mentioned that no demons are there in the spiritual world. Then somebody asked this question, then how come demons are in Vrindavan, in the Goloka Vrindavan, in the Bhuloka Vrindavan? But that demons is a pastime, part of pastimes. They are there into the Bhuloka Vrindavan, but they are not there into the Goloka Vrindavan. So this is what is happening. So when they are in the material world, they acquire all these demoniac qualities. These qualities that which they develop, that come from their free will, their independence and their free will. They develop this quality, they acquire this quality, and then they fall down into the category of demoniac qualities. And then they sometimes they have, they spread into the lower species, lower planetary systems, and their influences come to the, people in the middle of mode of passion and influence them. And then, people generally in the heavenly mode of goodness. So that influence also. So the person acquires this. Yes, this all can come from the satanic or the demoniac or the devils, which come from. That's why we can see in this world people are primarily and majority of the people, they have these demoniac qualities, and then they behave accordingly. It's very subtle. Yes. Sometimes we say that Satan is there. It's very true because of that demoniac qualities that are there. That is also this is actually from the independence, from the free will of the each living entity, that they create all these demoniac qualities, and it goes day by day. But this all creates actually by the by the quality of that which they born, right? So every day of Brahma, this all comes out. Whatever was there in the past life, that's what is there coming out with that qualities. So originally, the was all created when they exit from the spiritual realm. That means then they, rebellion against the Supreme Lord. Then they came down, and that's the demons are actually always rebellion or challenging against the quality or the good, actually, or the transcendental qualities of the nature. So then naturally they develop these qualities which against the Supreme Lord. That's actually the demoniac qualities that we can say that atheists and the people, those are here, they challenge the Lord, and some people, challenge them. There is so this we can see that. So why? Because of this is because of the quality they are occurring, and that they accumulate more and more, and they fall into this demoniac qualities, and that spreads around, right? Just like a seed of a tree which grows and grows, and we become a trunk, and the branches and the leaves become a big tree, like that. When there is a demoniac quality, it grows and grows and grows and spreads to the other people and like-minded people and all. Then they acquire all this, and then they behave accordingly. So when Bible or the Christians believe says that Sata, yes, it's true, in a context of understanding of this is also the part of this material nature. Hare Krishna. Well, Nitai Prabhu, anything you would like to add?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this is, it's very, very important that to check ourselves that where we also stand, with this. Do we have this, these influences? His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj always says that, right? We have two dogs in our heart. One is a good dog, another is a bad dog. So what happens? How do we feed to these dogs? Then it barks accordingly. If you are feeding a good dog, that'll be very nice with everybody, and it's very polite, and then it does not bite or bark, and it's always subordinate to the master, and it's always good to keep. But if you also feed that bad dog, then what happens? Bad dog becomes so strong and so powerful, it starts to bite everybody as soon as it sees anybody, bark, and give a lot of troubles to the masters, and master has to lock this bad dog inside the inside the cage and all those things. So this is what is exactly with all of us. So what we feed, whether we are feeding our demoniac qualities like a bad dog, then what comes out is the badness comes out. What we feed to the good dog, and good comes out. So it's out there, and all we need is actually that to understand this, and then what we feed to that, so that we can come out of it. Otherwise, it's also influence us. The bad dogs influence also the master, right? So, yeah. Okay. Anybody else would like to add anything? Any questions? Any discussions? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one more question.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you were briefly touching the rasas, right?
Yeah.
Chanta, Tasya, Sakya,
Valsalya.
Madhurya.
Yeah.
So is the people who merge in the Brahma Jyoti, right? The Advaitins, right?
Yeah.
So are they in Shantarasa?
No, they are not in Shantarasa. They are not in relationship, actually.
So the Jiva can be in 6 states. There is no relationship with God,
yeah,
or there is a 5 relationships with God. So can you explain who's like in Shantarasa?
Yeah, Shantarasa, like, just for an example, like creeper, like in Vrindavan, right? A tree, a cow, right? They're all in Shantarasa. They are in neutral. They are there. They like just for an example, like a tree, right, in a spiritual realm. They are there in neutral, but because of that relationship, they get association of the Lord. Many times even in Vrindavan or the devotee platforms, right? They have in their heart, they have there in the heart with a strong love for the Lord, but they are not in any kind of this like a dasya or a valsalya or a sakya or madhurya, any kind of relationship. But they have strong love for the Lord, strong faith for the Lord. They do things accordingly. They go with the devotional platform. They read scriptures. They do everything, and like that sometimes. So in the case of us, like we take this step of like dasa, like Simhesvara dasa, Balram Nitai dasa. Why we are having this relationship? That means we are the servitor, servants of the devotees of the Lord. We take that step and we create that relation. Our mood is actually what? To serve. The mood is to serve. But on the other hand, there are some devotees, like they see Krishna, they see Krishna in a friendship relationship, in Sakhiras. They always see Krishna. They, all the time they serve in such a mode. Friendship, that means whenever they go, they feel like, Krishna is with me. Krishna is like a friend for me, and he does things accordingly. There are some devotees, they don't have any kinds of this relationship, but they do things. They may not have any spiritual master. They may not have anything, but they have this relationship with Krishna in such a way that I worship the Lord with love and devotion, right? So this is called neutral, actually. They are not in any kind of dasya mode. They are not in any kind of sakya mode. They are not in the kind of parental love, like, valsilya mode or valsilyaras. That means Krishna is there, the Supreme Lord is there, but they consider us their child. There is a devotee in Vrindavan, I used to say this one actually. This Madaji got this deity, it's like a Balagopal, Ladu Gopal deity when she got married. She was serving this deity so lovingly like a child. So Krishna is child for her. It's even though she got old, one day, this Madaji was cleaning this deity, and this Ladu Gopalji fall down from her hand. She was so upset and she was so worried and she was so much in distress and pain. And then called his son. He became old. Call a doctor. My Lala, my son my Lala get hurt. Call a doctor. Call a doctor. And because of her insisting to her son to call the doctor, then unhesitatingly he called his friend. He was a doctor. He came and put the stethoscope on the Ladu Gopal, and then the doctor couldn't believe that he could hear the heartbeat of this Gopalji deity. And the dear devotees, that we can see that because of how that she was worshipping, Krishna was reciprocating accordingly. So like that, so this Valsalya Bhav, the relationship which we develop with Krishna in this Valsalya Bhav, or that we consider as parent, like Mother Yashoda, and they did a penance for thousands of years to get Krishna their child, Vasudeva and Devaki, and they were in the previous lives, and Kashyapa and Mother Aditi, right? So they were all doing these penances to get Krishna as their child. So Krishna, then they are worshipping Krishna as the parental. So this is called the Valsalya. And then Madhurya, of course, in the loving, conjugal, loving relationship. That's where the gopis and the topmost of that Krishna is always with their husband, So then a person does not have any of this and worship the Supreme Lord with that rules and regulations, and he worships accordingly, and he develops the love for the Lord, and he became, like Uddhava was saying, that when Uddhava came to Vrindavan, and he saw that, the loves of the gopis, and Uddhava was praying to the Supreme Lord, "O Lord, make me a creeper in this Vrindavana so that you touch me with your lotus feet." So every day that I can get your touch of the lotus feet. So these are the prayers so that these devotees get into the relationship, get into the Golok Vrindavan with the Supreme Lord in a neutral form, and they also, be there with the Krishna. So this is what. But on the other hand, like the Jnana Yogis and the Brahmavadis, they are actually goes on to the outer space of the Brahma Jyoti. They merge there. They don't even enter into the, unless we have this relationship, we cannot enter into the spiritual abode of the Krishna. We cannot enter in the Vaikuntha. So all they can go up to the peripheral of the boundary of the Brahmajyoti there, and then there they can easily fall down at any point of time into this material world again. So they don't enter into the Vaikuntha. So yeah, so Jnanavadis or Brahmavadis, they are actually even still on the material platform. They are not into the any way in any relationship with the Supreme Lord. Did it clear out, Praji? Or did it? You can add more.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, was it okay? Okay. Anybody else would like to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Ajana Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So this is from the previous verses. This is about the foods that we eat, right? Foods in
Right.
different modes, like good. So yeah,
Yeah.
mode of goodness, mode of, mode of passion and ignorance.
Right.
So how do we make sure that we are eating the food in sattvic mode, like mode of goodness?
Okay, it's a good question. Yes. We are not even eating the food in the Swatik mode. We are eating the food which is offered to Krishna, that is transcendental, that's prasadam. A devotee has to eat prasadam, not even in the mode of goodness. Yes, we can say that, we have mode in the cooked in the ghee, cooked in the wonderful, vegetables and rice and all these palatable, everything is cooked within. But what is good into that? Even if it is not offered to Krishna, we are eating simply sin. But this purifies a person, right? This purifies gradually with this consciousness, rather than think about that a person killing an animal, eating flesh and blood. It is much, much, much better than eating that which is, in the category of the mode of goodness. So that it purifies him in some extent, but still he accumulates the sin of whatever it is. But it's a severe sin, like a killing and eating is a Brahma Hatya. So according to the scripture, one who has acquired this Brahma Hatya, and especially eating this meat of another living entity, is a grievous, grave sin, grave sin. And he can fall into the, it is mentioned that there is a hell called Kumbhi Bhaga. There is a hell called, there is, I forgot the exact name of it. He fall down into this. And he fall down into this and he suffer for, he get a body accordingly and he goes through it. So this is what it is. But a person who is in the mode of goodness, or in the eating, that even if it is not offered, it's not that grave sin that he accumulates, but with the other process, he can gradually purify and come out from that, sinful reaction. But a person, on the other hand, eating that a devotee is supposed to eat, not, which is offered to Krishna, and not anything that not supposed to eat, which is not offered to Krishna. Otherwise, he sees only the sin. So a devotee, or a person, those who are aspiring, and a love for the Supreme Lord, and one who wants to purify his existence, his consciousness, and who chants the holy name, and should not eat anything other than the prasadam, not eat from the outside or those cooked. And it's mentioned that in the class that it's always depends on even if we eat anything that a person cooks, that the consciousness that person also goes into the food. So then, which is it's mentioned that when we cook, so that's where devotee cooks for the Lord, and they have this Krishna consciousness that I am cooking for the Lord. On the other hand, a person cook for the Lord, they have these thoughts of that, okay, oh, this is wonderful, this tasty, I can enjoy this. They understand, their thoughts is actually on the food, so I can enjoy it. He is in the center. So this consciousness goes into it. This all happens on the subtle form or subtle level. Not, we don't see it, but all this happens on the subtle level, like, just mind. We know that it's mentioned that mind is so subtle. Like some person, it's called telepathy, right? Some person is coming very closer to you. Immediately your thought process, you feel something that some person is coming, or you get that, Sometimes somebody is about to call you, always that you get that person in your mind now. So you get a call immediately. This is works that is mind works. Mind is so powerful. Mind is considered as this universe, this Brahman. So that much power the mind has it, but it's limited. We are conditioned, so it's within us. So then it's settled that it enters into it, that enters this consciousness. Consciousness such a pure, like sometimes some good people comes, right? Immediately that atmosphere changes. Why? They have the positive thoughts, positive, impressions, and in others, they have always that charisma. They have always happy, and this can feel that. When a person comes to that in middle of somebody, so everything changes accordingly. Why? Because of that consciousness, that pure consciousness that influence others. So they similarly, a person, those who are always finding fault and grumpy and what is called always angry and always find fault and always quarrel and does not see anything good in anything and always find blaming and so many negativity. As soon as a person comes, we can see that what kind of the mood is like. There's influence. So like that, mind influences actually. So when mind influences, which enters into the also the nearby whatever it is, its affects. So that's why which enters into the consciousness, also enters into the the food which we cook. If it doesn't have a pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, that's also goes to that, and then a person gets to that, then he also can develop that. It is actually, it's a study. It's a very pure study that is mentioned that, and it's also mentioned that what you are, that what you eat. It's Bernard Shaw, and many people says that what you are is what you eat. Whatever that it's your character and the behavior and the quality, all can be defined by what you eat. That's a person, the mode of goodness, or person can be in the mode of goodness, start to eat in the mode of goodness, so that they can develop the goodness, quality of the goodness. But a person, we know that in the mode of ignorance or in the mode of passion, they eat whatever they like, whatever they see, they don't discriminate, they eat everything. Then their character and the behavior also likes that, right? The animal qualities. In those who are in the mode of ignorance, it shows these animalistic qualities. But a person of the mode of goodness should, show that the human quality. So that's very important that, what we cook and how do we cook and who cooks and what we eat, very important. So it's mentioned that a devotee should always eat the prasadam so that it's transformed. It's now, sacred, it's transcend, that its modes, everything is transcend. Now, when we offer to Krishna, Krishna consumes that. Krishna takes that. That's why it's called prasadam. Prasadam means mercy. Krishna consumes it and Krishna fills back that plate so that devotee can consume this. Devotees can relish. And what is a Mahaprasade Govinde? The Govinda, Mahaprasad is a Govinda. Then the devotees honor that with that consciousness. So with this consciousness, even eating, when we have the Krishna consciousness, it purifies our brain, purify our intelligence, purify our existence. This is what is Krishna conscious life, that we should always have this Krishna conscious life, eat only the prasadam. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vadi. Very nice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that wonderful question. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Thought about you.
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Very
All
nice explanation. Very nice, wonderful class, Prabhu. You gave the lot of insight. But the question is, Prabhu, during the prasadam, suppose you are cooking something, a temporary you are cooking. We already did offer prasadam in the morning. After that, we are cooking another thing, and just we are showing to Lord. Please take it and Namo Brahmana Vaishnava. We hold it and show to Lord. That will be good or not?
Yeah, certain circumstances, certain time, place, circumstances, we may not be able to go to the altar and offer, things like that. Yes, I mean, some situations we may have to offer in the mind. Sometimes we just say Hari Om Tat Sat, and it's mentioned in the scripture that whatever we offer, and we should always chant this mantra, Hari Om Tat Sat. And it's that's why, any offering or any yajna or anything that we do, which is not in relationship with the Supreme, then this just samahi kevalam. So whatever we eat, whatever yad karosh yad asnasiyas jigosi dadasiyas, Yastavasyasi kaundeya tatkurusha madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever austerities you perform, whatever charity you give it, and all that as an offering to me, and whatever, yes. Even if akama, sarvakama, mokshakama, utarada, tivrena bhakti yogena yajide purusham param. I mean, akama, even if we have the kama, that means sakama or mokshakama, any kind of disease, and if it is in relationship with the Supreme Lord, then that gets purified. So even if some situations we are not able to offer directly, but we are able to chant the mantra and offer to Krishna even in the mind and show to the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is absolute, he is perfect, he is everywhere, he is complete. But in loving devotional service, devotees takes extra steps, that they go to the altar and offer in the proper way, chant the mantra, so that that's the right way. But some situations we are not, then you offer to the Lord in mind or some way or other in yoga in connection with the Supreme Lord, so that Lord takes that. But make sure that we offer to the Lord a pure. That means not bought from anything from outside, but we cooked it and we didn't have time or something like that. But always remember that, right? We always give very swatik. That means no onion, no garlic, no anything like that. Cooked that by those who are taken bath in a purified state, right? So that's what is we offer to the Lord. That we should. In some situations, some circumstances, some leniency is there. That Lord understand. He is Bhava Gragi Janardhan. Krishna is always looking not the quantity. Krishna is looking the bhava, what the love we have for the Lord. But that doesn't mean that we should take it granted. Krishna is always looking for the love and the bhava of the devotee, so that I can do anything I want. No. So the bhava means that in line with the Supreme Lord. That means bhava means it's a pure state. So like, devotees, there are so many devotees out there, right? Sometimes devotees may not have time, so whatever they get, they offer to the Lord. You know that the story of Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan was a mendicant. He just go for the madhukari, that alms for the, alms and biggie alms. And whatever he gets, sometimes he gets this just little atta. That's what is all he has. What he does not even cook anything. What he does, he just puts some little water in it, just mix it and offer to Krishna, right? And many times it was happening. And one day Krishna told Sanatana Goswami, "Oh, oh sadhu, oh Mahashya, like, oh Mahashya, can you put little salt in it?" Then Sanatana Goswami said, "I am a mendicant, I don't have anything else. This is what is I got. Now you are asking salt. Tomorrow you may ask, I need a palatable food. I need a delicious dishes. Where I'll go and where I can get it. Then there is a pastime that then there is a one merchant. He came and he stuck in front of the kutir of Sanatana Goswami. He was a salt merchant. And then he came to the the ashram of Sanatana Goswami, and then he talked to the Sanatana Goswami, "Please pay for me. This is all my livelihood, and this I have to take to the Madura, and then I have to sell it, and that's where I'm living. And with this one, then dacoits may come and take it away, and please pay for me so that I can, this salt of the boat full of salt which stuck there in front of." All of a sudden, the water raised up in the Yamuna. Then he could actually, sail down to Mathura and then sold all the salt. And he got the wealth and money, and he came back and offered that all money to Sanatana Goswami. That's where Radha Madan Mohanji temple is constructed. See that how Lord is actually reciprocate with his devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. So Lord is, likes that. So we should be always remember this, when we have this very sincere, loving devotion for the Lord, then Lord will make all the arrangements, So, but we should have that our sincerity, pure heart, that even though sometimes people take granted and then take it easy, and then, what is called what is familiarity breeds the condoms, and all those things, right? So then we take neglect and sake of, okay, now I can go and enjoy, okay, let me offer this one. No, not that way. We have to have pure, genuine situations, right? We can offer to the Lord. Yeah.
Okay, Babu, got it. Yes, sometimes I'm talking about that I'm doing some just I'm giving some example, Prabhu. I'm giving, suppose I on the morning I took the bath and give some offering fruits and other things, but after that sometimes after sometimes I'll go to the bathroom and come back and do some.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Anything that you went to bathroom, even if you pass the urine, even if you pass the stool, or even if anything, and without taking bath, don't do that, because we are contaminated in a settled form, right? Anything, if you go to bathroom and anything, we contaminated in a settled form. So in that case, if you cook that, don't do that. So it's better to take bath, right? Even if it's take 2 minutes bath, you have to take a bath so that it's pure, right?
Okay,
Sometimes you are not, then don't offer anything. That's okay. You can offer in the mind, right? In that case.
No problem. What I'm telling is, I'm not going to offer to the deity
Understood.
place.
Understood. But you are going to eat and outside, and now you are, that's fine, absolutely fine. You offer to the mind, you offer to the outside, whatever it is, and you pray to the Lord and you eat it. Yeah, that's
Yes.
okay.
Okay, that situation I'm talking
That's
about.
okay. Yeah.
Yes, and that's great, Babu. At least you get some guidance and another things, Babu. But right now is too late. But next time I'll talk to you regarding the Bhagavatam sloka. There is 3 sloka regarding Bahuguna, Bahuguna, Bahuguna,
Rahuguna.
Rahuguna.
King Rahuguna. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Rahuguna. When the Jadabharata already
Yeah.
explain about the spirituality and other things. After that, Rahuguna replying, not replying, asking something, and that was the real questions, actually real questions.
Yeah.
Real question. So I need to understand that properly, Prabhu, because that is not clear till now. Still now, I am so much conditioned that I'm not able to comprehend also.
Okay.
So that's why I need some guidance from that questions.
Yeah, let me know. I'll try. I know exactly, but I'll try. Whatever. Yeah. So.
Yes. So this not today, but other day. This is the five canto, 10 chapter.
Yeah.
10 chapter, 21, 22, and 23 text.
Okay. Yeah. We'll check. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Wonderful. Very nice. Wonderful. Thank you so much. You're very sincere, probably. I can see that in so many ways. Very sincere in all respect, and very good. Continue that, and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babu, give us the blessings, like you, senior devotee, and like you, Prabhu, and Krishna Ramanda Prabhu, and Madhupati Prabhu. If you're the association like Vajranava Prabhu and others, so we'll get some, I will get some idea. Not only idea, we'll purify ourselves, Prabhu, definitely.
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Anything else? Okay. Okay. So I think let's conclude then today's class, today's section. Nothing else. Okay. Thank you, dear devotees. Let's pay our obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhasya. Padidanam pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Kandara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnavrinda. Gaura Premanand.
Jai. Hari Bol.
Thank you, everyone. Very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.